Hi there! I'm very excited to share with you my fully converted van that I built with zero building experience, and I only watch YouTube to help me. Come and take a look. So full disclosure, when I purchased the van, it was already partially converted, and the things that I did not do are the solar panels. It was already installed, and the two bars on top that holds the basket, that's already there. And also the priming for the bed was already there. I didn't take that off because I feel like it was in the place where I wanted it. And it also came with electrical wirings, the gel battery inverter, which is a 3000 watt inverter. So the whole electrical system was pretty much in the van, except when I started rebuilding the van, I had to change the position of all the electrical system from the driver's side to the passenger side, and I'll show you that later. In addition to that, the van also came with that ladder that I can use to go up on top of the roof. I did not do that. That came with the van. So starting from outside, it came already with the max air fan that you can see up there on top, and then it came with these two bars. And when I purchased the van, it actually came with the Thule cargo rack up on top, but because I'm doing short distances right now, I decided to take it off and replace it with the basket, just because the gas is a little too crazy right now, and I think having that carrier up on top of the roof is just adding to the drag. Maybe when I'm ready to take longer trips, then I can replace the basket with that, but for now the basket is more than sufficient. Also, I added a lights right there. That one is a motion sensor light, and I like that it's that way because I didn't have to add any wiring to it, and it's pretty inexpensive. I also added one on the back of the van, the one that has a double door, so when I open the van, it turns on when it is dark. But there's also an option for me to turn it off or on, especially if I'm driving at night. I don't want it turning on, so I could just turn it off very easily. Now let me show you the front cabin. So it's pretty basic. I didn't do any upgrade. It came with the factory installed radio. The van has some kind of sensor when you're backing, but there's no camera to it. That's something that I'd like to add maybe later on, but for now I am pretty confident in parallel park my car, and I have no problem doing that, but I know that's something that I'd like to add later on. So as far as the front seat and the driver's seat, it came with the cloth seat. So I purchased this covers from Costco, and as you can see, in between the driver's and the passenger side, I have the refrigerator. I actually like that I put the refrigerator on this side because, of course, I'd be driving, but I'm just sitting here right now. But if I'm driving, I could actually access the drinks from my seat while I'm driving. So it's pretty convenient, and I like it like this. And then, so the van has 92,000 something miles when I purchased it sometime in February, and right now I'm heading close to 94,000. I haven't really traveled much as far as distance is concerned. Most of my trips are local. The one big trip that I would consider my biggest trip is when I went camping somewhere up in the mountain in Julian, and it's still here in San Diego, but that was pretty good. You know, it was able to just going somewhere remote where I cannot really access my home easily made me realize the things that I needed to add and remove, or something that's not important in the van. Now, as far as this whole thing is concerned, like I said, nothing is upgraded. Everything is as it is when I purchased the van, and everything is factory installed. Now let me show you inside. So from here, I added this 3 little galvanized metal pot holder, and this sign right here I found from the dollar store. I know where it's supposed to go in my van as soon as I saw it. So this, I'm very, very pleased with this decision. So this is where my faucet is and my water system. And as you can see here, I installed a door. This one is for me to be able to access my gray water and my fresh water quickly without having to go inside. Also over here, I have my water pump that helps me get the water. So for my water pump, in order for me to minimize the vibration, I got a piece of plywood and then I glued a cork board on top of it, and that's where I installed the pump, and that solves it for me. And before I forgot, on this door over here in the corner, I added a D ring. And the reason for that is, in the beginning, every time I have to open this door to put something in, I would usually use my own head to hold it. And sometimes it's just too inconvenient. So this is what my solution is. So I got this small bungee cord that has these 2 hooks on both ends basically. And I put one of the hook on this side on the D-ring, and then the other one goes up on the door over there, and that's pretty convenient. I don't have to use my head anymore to hold the door open. And over here, I use the same system, the bungee cord, to hold my paper towel. I notice it just keeps like getting unrolled when I'm driving or when the van is open like this, and this is my solution. And then on this door, I decided to put a whiteboard material over here. So my thing is, if I have to go somewhere and I need to remember something, I can write on it. So I thought it was a double purpose, and I'm really happy with it. Another thing that I added in the van that I saw from other people who build their van is this table that is trigger mount. So it opens like that. Eventually, I wanted to put a swivel mechanism for the passenger seat, but right now I'm still not comfortable with it, because from what I've read and from the videos that I've seen, I have to deal with the airbag system, and to be honest, I'm not comfortable with that just yet. And plus, I'm trying to save up some money so I can get that. So for now, that has to wait. But once I have the swivel for this chair can then turn around, and this could be like a table where, you know, you can work or you can eat, something like that. And it's very easy to undo. There's just 2 little trigger mount right here, and that's how it goes. And underneath that is where I store my folding chair. This chair I use either to help me go in and out of the van, or when I'm inside the van, it's also perfect height for me to sit in when I'm cooking or doing something inside. And this one, I store it right here. Now I know you can see that I have an oven inside. Actually intentionally did that instead of just having a stove. So that was one of my options. Do I just have a portable stove, or do I put this oven? And I decided to go with the oven. The reason being for that is, although I'm here in San Diego and heating my car is not something that I usually think about, I know eventually when I start traveling, I'm gonna go to some place where it may be a lot more colder than where I live. And my mindset, and I don't know if it's the right one, but I went for it, is that with me having the oven, if I need to warm up the van, I can just cook or bake some cookies. Then it's going to warm up the van. I'm going to have some cookies, and the van will smell really, really good. So that's why I decided to go for this. This one, I find that it's very complicated, at least for my skill level, but On the description below, I will add a link to the vlog that helped me install the oven safely and properly. Before I even started the construction is this oven slash stove. So right here, I find that it's better that I put this cloth in on top of this thing, because when I'm driving it tends to make a shaking noise and I don't like it. When you're driving a van like this, you want everything secure, and every time you hear a noise it just kind of, you know, it gets me nervous. Is there anything that I forgot to put away? That's something that I was practicing, or I'm still practicing every time I go somewhere. It's a process to get the van ready to start rolling after it's been parked for a while, especially when you put stuff away or you put stuff out. You have to remember to put everything away, otherwise it's going to be flying all over the van, and that's not a fun thing to do. So I have this piece of cloth right here, just kind of helps with the vibration or the noise. And that's the stove right here. Usually the way I do it, I would take that little top off, and this one goes right here, and I have these pins to secure it, but I put it here for now. And then I put this thing back in. It's easy because there's like a little hole where, you know, those little pin is supposed to go down to keep it secure when you're cooking. So that's that. So let me put this away, and to close it, it's the same thing. Just close it like this, and then let those little hooks go down on their place, and then close it. As you can see, I have a fire extinguisher over here. That's something that, based on my research, I have to add. And eventually I also need to get a carbon monoxide detector. I do not have that just yet, but right now I'm only using the green little propane that you usually get from, you know, camping stores. So I don't have to use the carbon monoxide yet. I will need that when I put the big gas tank inside the van. Then once I have that, I really must have a carbon monoxide monitor for safety purpose. Over here I could also access the refrigerator, and now you can see it is secured by a bungee cord. Once I don't have this bungee cord, I could actually pull it in and out right now. And I like this refrigerator because it actually comes with either freezer or refrigerator, or I could just make it all refrigerator, and right now that's what it is. And another feature that the refrigerator has, it is Bluetooth capable. So I downloaded the app for the refrigerator, and then I'm able to control the temperature by just using my telephone. I will add the details for this refrigerator on the description below. So underneath this cabinet, I have a bunch of pans that fits perfectly in my oven. I also have a couple of lighters. I have some nesting pots in here, and I also have 2 other pots in here, as well as full-size pans, and they all fit in here. Most of the time, this is also where I store one of those green little propane tank, but right now I don't have it here. I have it underneath the seat just because I'm not using it. But it's a pretty big space, and right here is where I put the little propane tank. Okay, so in this cabinet right now I have just a bunch of stuff that I wanted to keep in the van, but really this is where I will put the gas tank once I'm ready. And right now this is how I cook in this van. So I have this gas connection. So this is how I cook right now. I have this, and then I get this connected, and right now it's sufficient for me. I don't really cook a whole lot just yet, but once I'm ready traveling, distance and for an extended period of time. The gas tank will go over here, and this little tank fits underneath the stove. So this is my sink, and I also added this little rubber drying rack so it doesn't go anywhere. This sink, I got this from IKEA, so it's a pretty good size. It's the perfect size actually that I was looking for. It was deep enough, and it was just the right size for this space that I wanted. And then underneath this sink, I have this double latch thing to secure the door. Also, I added some magnetics to hold it. So both doors have this one, and it's a magnetic closing mechanism. I have that, and I have my trash here also, as well as my chopping board. That's where I put that. So right beside where the sink is where I housed all my electrical stuff. So this little thing over here is the monitor that tells me how much battery I'm generating from up on top of the roof with the solar panels. It also tells me how much I'm consuming, and it also tells me the temperature of the battery. Now this one I installed. Most of the little switches are just dummy switches, but right now what I have live at least is the light and the water pump. And then inside here is where I have the gel battery, also the fuse boxes, and I have a 3000 watt inverter. And right here I have some extension cords. One of them goes in the front, and that powers the refrigerator. And then the other extension cord, I have 3 outlets that are out over here where I plug my lights, and I also use it to power my oil diffuser. I also installed this light right here, so at night when I have to open this, it's not too dark because this motion sensor light is activated at night whenever I open this door, but I hardly ever do. Now this cabinet right here, for now what I have are 3 little containers up on top. This one is a pancake mix. I also have brown rice. This water I usually use for my diffuser. And then I have oatmeal. And then I have a basket in here. Right now I have some of my electronics and some other little gadgets that I have. I keep it in here, and it goes all the way in, and then this stuff goes in here. Now underneath this cabinet I have another container, and this is white rice, my coffee French press, and I have a box of tissue that usually sits on the countertop, but when I'm driving I have to put it inside, and that's where I put it. And I have another box of organizer right here, but right now it's empty because I actually have a trip coming up sometime mid-August, and I have a friend that's joining me in the trip. She and I are going to Utah, so I saved that space for her so she can put all her belongings in there. Now over on this side, as you can see, I have my oil diffuser. I also have my karaoke microphone in here, so it's Bluetooth and I can charge it here in the van, and it's something that we can do for fun while we're in the van if I have any friends over. I've tried it before and it's so fun. So this is the back of the van, and as you can see I have this spacious sitting area, and this middle part right here that's open, I have a piece of wood that goes over on this space, and once that's there it becomes a bed. But before I show you how I convert this sitting area into a bed, I wanted to show you some more storage that I have in this van. So underneath this seat we have a storage, and let me show you what I have here. Oh, by the way, so I have a van that has a lot of windows, and in order for me to save money, I actually got a roll of the Reflectix. So I got a big roll of this Reflectix from Home Depot, and then I got a big cardboard and made a template for all my windows, and I cut all this Reflectix to size. And then on the other side of it, which is the one that's facing the window, I added this black or dark fabric. I got that idea from one other van lifers from YouTube. And once this is against the wall, against the window, it makes the window look so blacked out. So if you are thinking of making your own Reflectix, if you're building a van, you're working on it, this is such a great idea. My van is, the windows are tinted, but it's not heavily tinted. So at night, if I turn on the light, you can actually see through. But with this one, if you just leave this outside or like this, and it's facing the window, you can tell it's a Reflectix. But with this one, it makes a whole lot of difference. Once it's against the window and you're looking from the outside in, it looks so dark out. So this is a great idea. And I have all this, I made all this, I cut them all, and I keep it underneath the seat wherever they're going. So this one is supposed to go to this window, so I keep them in here. Again, let's look underneath the seat. So this one opens, and I have a piece of wood that I usually put in here, not this one. So I have this little piece of wood to hold the door propped open for me. And right now, because I just barely finished working on the van, usually when I'm working on it, I put everything away at the end of the day, and most of my tools goes in the van, so I don't have to consistently look for them. They're all in here. But right now I have this, and underneath this seat is where I hide all the pieces for my lagoon mount. So that piece of wood that goes in this little space into a bed also serves as the table. So this one, or this two piece, I have the mount mounted right here on the bottom. This one goes over here, this one goes on top, and then the table goes on top of this thing. I'll show you in a little bit, but this goes over here. I also have extra propane underneath here, and really it's just all tools right now. Well, I do have like a little sleeping bag. It's also stored over here, but this is a storage, like I said, and this is how it goes. Again, to prop it open, well, right now the foam is holding it, but usually I use this little piece of wood to hold it up, and that's how I get around and grab stuff from underneath this one. Now on the other side. Now on this side, this is actually where I have most of my stuff stored. I don't know why I put it here, but it's right here. Oh, and by the way, for the cushions, when I was shopping for fabric, I noticed that the fabric were so expensive wherever I go, and if I find a cheaper one, it's usually very plain also, and I can tell the quality is cheap as well. So this covers that I used, this is actually a curtain, and I find that it's much cheaper. So for the fabrics, they're usually about $10 a yard for the kind of pattern that I want. This one I paid less than $20 for a double pane curtain, and it was more than enough for me to make my covers. So this one goes here, fold it up, and like I said, whatever window this covers go to, that's where I hide them, underneath those seats. And then again, this one opens, and I have this piece of wood that I put right here. Over here is where I have my rice cooker. So this one was gifted to me by my friend. She's a family friend, and we both used to live in Tucson in Arizona. Now she lives in Texas, and she came over here to San Diego and visited us about a month ago. And we took this van camping at Torrey Pines State Beach, and we decided we're going to make chicken adobo, which is a Filipino dish. And then also with chicken adobo, we need to cook rice. So we went to Walmart, and she gifted me this rice cooker. Thanks, Kathy. Over here, I also have, believe it or not, more of this propane. I have more propane because they're small. You know, they run out quick, and when I see them on sale, I grab a few. And then I have some inflatable stand-up paddle board that I keep in the garage for now. I don't want to leave it here in the van, but I do have this electric pump for it, and this one, like I said, I can plug it right here. And you know, this is here, and this was also a gift from a friend slash co-worker. I also have some this is a little tent again. And I do have a bike that I wanted to take with me when I start traveling, and this is like a little kit for me to fix the tires if I'm having issue with it. I have some hammocks right here, and just really a bunch of little things that I don't need just yet, but you know, eventually I'm gonna need most of it, and this is where I store it. And for now, every time I would go on a trip, whether it's, you know, like a day or more than a day, I usually look in my van. I try to check what I need and take what I don't need for that trip, at least for now. So this is the storage, and this is how I close it. And then because I have my diffuser over here, and I also have like a small lamp. So this one is from IKEA. Whenever I would go to sleep at night, on those few occasions that I traveled or that I camped, I don't like all these lights when I'm about to go to sleep and I wanted to read. So I have this little lamp from IKEA. I like it because I can move it around anywhere in the van, because it's just a matter of clipping it somewhere. And the way I get my power outlet here, I put an extension cord. Inside. I plugged it in on the inverter, and then I run it over and around the seat, and it gave me this little extension here. And whenever I don't use it, I just unplug everything. And right now I have it secured using this little stuff to hold the cord, so it runs around the bed and it's underneath all the cushions. So right now I wanted to show you how I turn this whole area into a seating plus table. But first, let me put everything back. So this is the backrest, and they go back over here. And let me grab the piece that I use for table slash bed. So whenever I'm not using it, whenever I have this set up just as a sitting area, I take this piece of wood, this piece that goes in the middle, and I put it behind the driver's seat, and this is where I usually house it or hold it. Now let me show you how I turn or I put the table setup. So this first piece of the lagoon mount, I have this little frame that I've installed over here on the side, and then this piece goes over here. So this piece goes over here, and then you just have to lock it. Let me see. Okay, there you go. And then this piece goes over here. And then underneath the table, I have the other piece for the lagoon mount, and this is what goes up on top. And now I have a table. So I know that this piece of wood is not the prettiest one. This is one of those things that came in the van that I have not gotten rid of. Mostly in the beginning, this was for the bed, so I didn't think I needed to get a new piece. But now that I have the lagoon mount and I can turn it into a table, I do think I need a better piece of wood that maybe I can even decorate, because right now, as it is, you know, for bed, it's not that bad. But for table, I could use one that has a better surface. But one thing I love about the lagoon mount is it allows me to move the table around. Like I said, I could be sitting here with my laptop with this window open. And then imagine I'm in a pretty place and the wind is blowing and I'm here. Or I could be sitting here also eating. Or I could have a friend over and both of us can sit on each direction and somebody else over here. And this is how I have it designed with table. Now let me show you how I turn this into a bed. So first, of course, I need to remove this part. Okay, I'll put it right here for now for safety. And then I just remove this. And then I store them back inside underneath the seat. And then I have to move myself on the other side. This piece of wood goes in this little space. That goes there. And then this piece that was the backrest goes right here. And so is this piece on the other side. It goes over here. It's actually pretty good size. I can lay on it, my foot all the way. I'm actually tired. Now, one of the challenges that I have came across when I'm building this van is this corners right here. Because it wasn't flat, it was an angle, I had such a difficult time finishing it, and it's one of those part of this van that was done last aside from the mount. But also over here, in order for me to hide some of the imperfections that I did, I'm going to show you a little bit. I got this little curtain rod from IKEA, pretty inexpensive. And then the hooks also, I also got this little lace curtain from over there, and I love it. Now that I'm facing here, I realize I missed something. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I have on that side to keep my privacy. So over here, this is actually a tension rod. Usually we use this, I guess, for shower curtains. But I have that. And then these are blackout curtains that I purchased from Costco. And the way I cut it was a little different. So here it's just a smaller one. And then the other side is the bigger part. Because when I tried to do it halfway, I just didn't like how it looks. But this one, what works for me. And because I have this gap over here, I just made this little piece up on top bigger, and that gives me the dark out that I needed. And this is what I do when I'm sleeping in the van. So that's it. Now I need to show you the garage. So this is the garage. Let me show you what I have over here. So on this side is where I store my folding chairs. I also have a folding camping table. And what else do I have here? Oh, and I also have my vacuum in here, which if you're living in a tiny space like this, you have to sweep and vacuum almost just a lot, because I mean it gets dirty right away. And for me, since I have long hair, I notice there's always hair on the ground, and you know, you just have to sweep all the time in this little tiny van. And then something that I got for the van that I have to put or install, but I haven't done just yet, is this Stakol. So this one will allow me to plug my van if to shore power if I'm parked somewhere and they have power outlet. And in the beginning I thought I don't need it, but then I was watching some YouTube videos of other van lifers, just in case you go in an area where they don't get a whole lot of sun and for some reason you run out of juice in your battery or you know you just don't have enough power. You can go to a camping spot where you can plug in your van and plug everything and charge everything. So I got this one, but I haven't installed it just yet because I'm really scared to poke a hole on the side of the van, and I think I need to do more research before I would feel comfortable doing it. But it's here. And on the other side, I have a lot of my electrical supply thing, and some of this I'm going to keep in the van. When I was actually working on the electrical stuff, because I have to move the electrical stuff from the driver's seat to this side, I had to change it. I had to ask for help, and this family friend is an engineer also, so he knows all about this stuff. And then he thought when I asked for help, I want him to do all the connection, because I have to disconnect everything and then reconnect everything in order for me to move it from the left hand side to the right hand side of the van. But I told him, no, I want you to show me, I want you to tell me what to do and let me do it, because if I have any issues with my electrical power, my electrical stuff, chances are you wouldn't be there to do it for me. So I'd like to know. So that's exactly what he did. He was telling me what to do, and I was so confident now that I was able to install my pump or my faucet by myself. It took me a little bit of a try. I had to reconnect, disconnect at least a couple of times, but it did the trick. And then also I got something for my van. So this is a portable projector. So when I'm traveling somewhere and I wanted to watch something, I could actually have a little movie night by myself using this. So that. Another thing that I have in the van, I don't know about you, but this is a Filipino thing. If you know what this is and you are Filipino, leave me a comment. I know you know what this is. And then this is another storage. Right now I have a bunch of, things that if I want to start traveling distance, it's not going to be here. But like right now, like I said, I'm still, traveling short distances, and, it just holds a few things. Some of them are necessary, some of them aren't. So I have this bands for me to work out if I'm traveling or when I'm traveling. I also have, some mosquito repellent system. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm hoping it will work. I also have an electric heated blanket. So since I don't have a heater in my van, and in the event that I don't feel like baking, I at least have an electric heated blanket with me, so that should cover it. I hope you enjoyed the van tour. This is it. If there's anything that you see that you're interested, I will put a link on the description below. If you have any question, please leave me a comment. And if you think this channel is for you, or if you know somebody, please like, subscribe, and share this video. For now, you guys take care. Bye.